And as we get into it, we're getting in hot. Branson Robinson. Why do I know that name? Why do I know that name? Stud. That's why you know that name. How about 2 touchdowns in the college football national championship against TCU a couple years ago? We're talking about Branson Robinson. We're talking about running back for the Georgia Bulldogs this upcoming 2024-2025 season. And they're like, God, where was he last year? Well, he ruptured his patella tendon. That's what happened. I'm gonna let CD go into his resume a little bit more, but just know that Georgia, yes, they brought in. You're probably thinking Georgia brought in Trevor Etienne. Georgia brought in Trevor Etienne. Relax. All right, there's
We
plenty of
know, we
room.
know.
I mean, this is a Georgia team that ranked ninth in rushing yards per attempt. They were top 20 team in rushing yards per game last year, and people were snoozing on their run game at the beginning of the season. Remember that? Remember when that was a thing? Yeah, no
Hmm.
thanks. There is plenty of work to go around here. I mean, look, you're looking at Georgia backfields at one point had Sony Michelle and Nick Chubb in there at the same time. You had Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb. You had Sony
Todd Gurley,
Michelle
Keith
and
Marshall.
yeah. Oh, what a
Keith
name
Marshall's a
drop.
name drop.
What a name drop. So just know that there's plenty of room in this backfield for work. And why don't you get into Branson Robinson's resume and why we're so excited?
Yeah. So first of all, coming out of high school, he was a 4-star, a high 4-star at that 62nd ranked nationally, fourth running back overall, first player in that state of Mississippi, where he had a 4.49 registered 40 time in high school, a 40. We're talking about a legit freak. Not only can he do it with speed and agility and explosiveness, right, but he's also a state champion, record holding power lifter in the state of Mississippi in high school. This guy's a freak. He walked on, didn't walk on, but he showed up at Georgia as a true freshman and garnered immediate carries in a backfield and a team that, by the way, went 15-0 and won by like 70 points in the college football playoffs with guys like Kenny McIntyre, Dejon Edwards, and Kendall Milton. This guy is legit. He was supposed to be a massive piece for them this year. They were devastated. And the reason why you don't know his name and the reason why he's on this list and not already broken out this past year is because he tore his patella tendon back in August. He should be 100% by next fall. UGA, like you mentioned, really consistently struggled to run the football, and we're counting on him to be the guy. Yes, you mentioned they're bringing in Trevor Etienne, to be a guy for them. But guess what? It doesn't matter. You're losing Dejon Edwards. You're losing Kendall Milton. There's a lot of carries to go around. And but by the way, like it's not just like they took a chance to bring in an elite player like Trevor Etienne, who we love, by the way. We love Trevor Etienne. He runs super, super well at Florida. We thought they used him. They needed to use him a little bit more than they did. And I'm sure he'll get plenty of touches and star power in Georgia's offense. But there's a lot of production missing from this team. Dejon Edwards, Kendall Milton, Lad McConkey, Brock Bowers, arguably the four most consistent and reliable players on that football team. I'd throw in Marcus Rosemuth, Jack Saint as well into there, a veteran presence
Skill
as
players,
well.
skill position players.
Yes, thank you, skill players. So you obviously have a lot of mouths that are hungry for these touches that are going to be left open for them. But yeah, in that running back room for Georgia standards, last year it was decimated because it was injured. Injuries happened to them, and it kind of got pretty weak. But that running back room, they're bringing in some freshmen I like, right? But let's be honest, like for a Georgia running back room, it's pretty thin, and Branson Robinson is going to be a guy for them.
I agree, man. I agree. And I mean, they're missing some guys on the offensive line, but if you have been following Georgia recruiting in the last couple of years and some of these boys, like, sorry, I say boys, I mean men that they have brought in on the offensive line, it is absurd. So I'm not concerned yet. At least, I haven't done my deep dives on Georgia yet. I'm not concerned as of today, February 29th, happy leap year, on I'm not concerned about Branson Robinson running behind that offensive line for Georgia at all, or the schedule that he's got to play. He is a stud, and let's be real too. Like the state of Mississippi, you don't see a lot of 5-star talents, but the hit rate of some of these 4 stars out of Mississippi is like per capita, it is absurd. Like I believe 24/7 put this out there that per capita, Mississippi is the most talented football state in the entire country per capita, right? It's not like they're producing the most talent, just for their population, they're producing more talent than anyone else. So the what that means is that the hit rate on these guys is high. And yeah, I believe Branson Robinson is going to be a massive problem. I believe it was actually the same injury that Nick Chubb had, another Georgia running back. And that is a tough rehab. That is a tough rehab. But this is a tough kid. This is a tough kid, and he's young. He's malleable. He's robust. He will come back from this, and we'll see how he is. We'll see how he is in spring. We'll see how he is in fall camp. I don't know that he'll be back for spring, but hopefully, we get some more updates on his injury. But I believe that if he plays and he's ready to go come in the fall, he will be a huge part of their offense, right? And Trevor Etienne is a star in his own right, but it's also insurance, right? Like if Branson Robinson doesn't work out, like Trevor Etienne is probably not your workhorse back, right? I mean, like he wasn't even the workhorse back at Florida, right? He was probably the better running back of the duo that they had over there at Florida, but Branson Robinson, if you can have that thunder to that lightning, that Mark Ingram to that Trent Richardson, you know, gosh, this could be
So
this could be really lethal.
Sony Michelle to your Nick Chubb. Yeah, no, and
Yeah,
also you have a guy like Carson Beck, who we love, by the way, and you were on him more than anybody else was early on last summer. But wouldn't it be nice to just take a little bit of stress off his back, right? Because I mentioned earlier, they're losing a lot of weapons offensively. There's a lot of names, a lot of hype around the names, right? Robert Thomas, you remember him, high profile, SEC transfer from a year ago. Dominic Lovett, same thing as well. Dylan Bell, another high recruit. London Humphreys, freak from Vanderbilt. Colby Young, freak from Miami. Right? Oscar Delp has all its potential. Lawson Lucky, all its potential. Right? Like Aaron Smith, same thing. Burner, but like there's still a lot of question marks, and someone's got to take those reins. And Lad McConkey, really, really good. Brock Bowers, unbelievable. Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton, massive amount of experience. Someone's got to take that reign for this Georgia team that's going to be expecting to compete for a national title. They were a game away last year, losing to Bama, and probably would have won it all last year. They were probably the best team in maybe a down year for them. And yeah, Branson Robinson would
Michigan
be a
fans are
massive
going to be
addition.
upset with you, by the way. Michigan fans are going
Okay,
to be
but
upset with you.
Georgia would have been favored against Michigan. Okay, that's kind of,
Yeah,
and it
no,
would
I'll
have been a
agree with you
point or
there.
two, whatever it was like. But regardless,
But I wouldn't have been able to cash my plus 1050 national championship sprinkle with Michigan right there. So,
that's true.
anyways, I'm all right with the way that it worked out. And I'm sure you Michigan fans are as well.